Hello, great people. Sure, you don't hear am. Tinubu don tackle Fulani as federal government bans open grazing. And not be only say dem ban am o, dem come make am capital offence. It means that in Nigeria at the moment, thou shalt not take your cow to the waka waka anyhow all over the place. If you know the Fulani ethnic stock, you will know the effect of this particular ban on the Fulani tribe, because cattle rearing is the ancestral occupation of the Fulani people. The big question is that why is Bola Ahmed Tinubu taking this particular decision at this point in time? I will tell you the reason the federal government stated, then I will tell you the untold reason, and I have 4 untold reasons for you why the federal government took that bold decision. Then after that, we'll be dissecting the associated issues. What are the excesses of these Fulani people? What is the implication of the president's action on them? And what are the political effect of it, particularly as regards the ambition of Bola Ahmed Tinubu to return as Nigeria's president in 2027? We'll be looking at all these, cutting through the noise, dissecting all what needs to be dissected on this episode of Politics with Joshua Plug, Dr. Omosholadeji. If you are watching me and you are yet to subscribe, of course, do well to subscribe to this channel so that as the tori dey hot, as I dey drop am, e go dey land for your hand real time. And share this video as well, make other people may they get to enjoy am too. So it took Nigerians by surprise that Tinubu finally summoned the courage to do the right thing, which is to ban open grazing. I will give you 4 untold reasons, 4 very important untold reasons why the federal government took that action. But I need to give you some background, which is very important. Why is it surprising that Tinubu took that decision? Let me take you back to when Tinubu said, "Where are the cows?" You will recall that when the Fulani was making inroad into Yoruba land, that was when Sunday Igboho started his advocacy against the excesses of the Fulanis. And there were reports that the Fulanis are beginning to make inroads into the Yoruba land, particularly the forest. And it led to an altercation between some Yoruba nation agitators at that time. When Tinubu was to comment about it, he said, "Oh, that where are the cows?" That means that he didn't believe at that point in time, despite the fact that he touted himself as the political leader of the Southwest, as the political godfather of Southwest politics. So the big question is that, is it that Tinubu don't know that time? Abi Tinubu know he was doing it for political gain, and that is why this one where Tinubu do now, share Tinubu go fit implement am, or as 2027 approach, it go back down again. But I just need to give you that background that the Tinubu that we know is the same Tinubu that said, "Where are the cows?" Apparently for political reason of 2023. So now, if you ban open grazing, can we trust him? But then let me tell you the 4 untold reasons why federal government banned open grazing. But you will recall that elders have unfettered access to arms, they brandish it, and operate with impunity. When did this gain prominence? During the regime of Muhammadu Buhari. You will recall that Muhammadu Buhari himself is an elder, in the sense that Muhammadu Buhari, if you listen to what Buhari has been doing all his life, when he retired from the military, he has always had 100 cows. He doesn't have more than 100 cows, about 100 cows, about 100 cows. You won't see that maybe Buhari wrote a book, maybe Buhari did anything of intelligence, just like Obasanjo. When Obasanjo left the seat of the presidency, he went back to study at, I think, Open University. He bagged degrees up to PhD level. Some of you don't know that Obasanjo has a PhD, rightly or wrongly. Whether they pity or they dash, he shall have PhD. But Buhari didn't do anything to improve himself intellectually. He has always have cows. So this cattle rearing is the occupation of the Fulani people. But do you know why? In fairness, you see, Buhari was just overly sympathetic, in the sense that when these elders, when they were lamenting about cattle rustling, which is the stealing of their cattle, people that have power more than them will come and harass them, steal their cattle. They now began to stockpile arms, but because Buhari was an elder himself, not much was done to curtail the excesses of these guys. So they began to have unfettered access to arms and ammunition. They brandish it, which is that if you own a firearm, you are supposed to keep it, right? You are not supposed to expose it. But because Nadia Papa dey power, they were brandishing the firearms. At some point, the Fulani elders, they don't send you, they go, they work out like this. You go see some of them with their firearms. During this Buhari period, Buhari spent 8 years, despite the fact that it was illegal for anybody to brandish firearms. If you get firearms for Nigeria, you go keep am, nobody go see am, because you know say na exhibit, na illegal thing you carry. But for the Fulani, e no dey like that. So they were operating with impunity. And do I need to remind you that Donald Trump is considering labeling Miyetti Allah a terrorist organization. If you are not current, Miyetti Allah wrote to the US President Donald Trump that they are being misinterpreted, that Miyetti Allah is a peaceful organization, that Trump should not label them a terrorist organization. This thing that I'm saying, you can fact check me on it. Now, let us go to the 4 untold reasons. But before I tell you that reason, let me tell you the reason why federal government banned it. What federal government said. The said now, then I'll go to the unsaid. The said is that we need to ban open grazing because of farmer herders crisis. That if you ban open grazing, if you ban open grazing, it will reduce farmer herders crisis. That the herders will not be able to encroach on the land of the farmers when they are, transporting their cattle. The federal government is also of the argument that if you ban open grazing, the cattle will not be stressed, so they will have better beef. Their beef will be more nutritious. Cow where you carry from Yola, waka to Ogun State, or from Yola to Edo State, definitely you don't stress that particular cow. That is the argument of the federal government. More good beef, as in good beef. We say the beef could do okay the more, and also the farmer herders crisis. But what the federal government no talk? Now it be these 4 reasons. Insecurity in Nigeria was traced to the activities of these herdsmen. Let me say something. It's not all herdsmen are bad. Some are good. But some of them that are terrible, the good ones have failed to fish out the bad ones so that they can save the name of the occupation. So insecurity is traced to some of these guys. Some of these Miyetti Allah guys, the federal government have discovered that in some of these insecurity issues, kidnapping and all that, some of them are involved in it. So they now thought about it that the best way to do this thing is to stop open grazing. And another thing is that the federal government believe that if they ban open grazing, that definitely they will cordon off the forest. It means say if open grazing is not allowed and you go inside forest, if they grip you for inside that forest, now wahala for you. So that is one of the reasons. Insecurity. Another thing is that forest occupation and mapping have been traced to some of these herders. What do I mean by that? Some of these herders, they have turned the forest to their homes. They have been roaming about the forest, transporting their cattle through the forest for years now. So they have already mapped out the forest. They know the terrain of the forest, even more than some of our security agencies. So the federal government discovered that forest occupation, making forest a home, and the mapping of the forest, they traced it to these guys. That it be like say the reason why this guy they do all this insecurity, where they go pipe people, where they go run inside bush, they say they don't map out the forest. So the federal government believe that, well, the best thing is to ban open grazing. Number 3 reason is that kidnapping have been traced to some of these herders. Kidnapping in Nigeria have been traced to the activities of some of these herders, and the federal government is not having it because it will be difficult for you to kidnap person and keep the person in an environment whereby there's so many people. It's easy for hand to touch you. But if you carry person mama, carry person papa, carry person pikin, you can't run inside the bush. Definitely, it go dey difficult for people to track you, and that's why the federal government have banned open grazing. That is why it is always good if you are a member of a society or an occupation, if some of your people are using your name or they are doing something bad, always call them out and fish out the bad eggs among them. That is what is now affecting the whole Fulani tribe. Again, I must say that it is not all Fulani herders that are bad. There are some noble ones that are doing their job just to make noble profit, but some of them have transformed it from herders into kidnappers. They have seen that to carry cow come from Sokoto to Lagos, the stress. But if you just kidnap 1, 2, 3, 4 people, imagine the kind of amount where you go make if each of them pay you even as little as 30 million as ransom. Now 40 million be that. So some of these herders, based on their access to arms and ammunition, have transformed into an agent of insecurity for Nigeria. Now the 4th reason is land grabbing. They have traced land grabbing to the activities of some of these people. Where they are coming from, they don't have the kind of land and soil and the vegetation. So when some of them are coming towards south, particularly from the middle belt, they do encroach on farmland. So the federal government have seen that this insecurity whereby they will go into some villages, sack some people, for instance, like this Yewata and some other communities, particularly in Jos, in Benue, some of these states that borders the core northern state, the federal government have discovered that the reason why some of these people they commit these atrocities is for the purpose of land grabbing. That's why Bola Ahmed Tinubu thinks, say, no, we must ban these people, and the federal government decided to make it a capital punishment. Now, having given you those 4 reasons, I must say something. And what I must say is that, in fairness to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you did this one right. But as I said earlier, I don't know whether you'll be able to sustain it. I don't have trust that you'll be able to sustain it. But you are right on this, because Nigeria is one of the indisciplined, directionless, and backward country where cattle roam the street across the world. If you look at it, I'm talking of same countries now. Nigeria is one of the indisciplined countries that you just see cow roaming the streets. Cow go, they struggle for road with you. That shouldn't happen in the 21st century. So I hope that the federal government will be able to make sure that this policy is implemented. And I just hope they won't use taxpayers to establish these people, because if you use taxpayers' money to establish ranching and these things for these people, definitely the mechanic that is working, you need to support that person, because cattle rearing is a private business. So the federal government have to be very careful. No be say you go ban open grazing, you can't go, they use all the taxpayers' money, they spend them for these people just because you want to please them. Another thing is that, can Tinubu truly implement this policy? I doubt it sincerely. Why? Because of 2027, will it back down? As election approaches, as pressure dey rise, will Bola Ahmed Tinubu be able to implement this policy, or it will back down? But in all of this, Donald Trump should be praised. For any sane mind, for any logical mind, the president of the United States should be praised, because na 2 tweets na him cause all this thing. Just 2 tweets. Tinubu wey dey sleep before, Tinubu wey no dey send anybody, before you know, Baba dey hold security meeting, they dey snap picture where Baba they put hand for cheek like this, you know, just the power of 2 tweets. So if there's anything Nigerians need to thank President Donald Trump for, it is for him helping them to wake up their president from sleep, helping them to wake up their president from slumber. So thank you, Trump, for waiting. You do this one. The sleeping Tinubu has suddenly woken up, and I just hope that he won't go back to sleep as soon as possible. Nigerians deserve to be protected, and I just hope that all Nigerians across ethnic group, across the divide, will be protected. It's been an interesting time with you. Subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.